My wife had 5 miscarriages. The 5th one, when we were there for the ultrasound to make sure everything was okay and they didn't hear our heartbeat, my wife just grabbed my arm and the doctor told us our daughter wasn't living. Do you know, men, I couldn't be present because I had to be hard. I had to be strong. I can't be weak. I can't show her it's hurting me. I lost my daughter. So for years, I held that back. And it made me angry. I would hit things, had no patience, because I hadn't released what was really hurting me. One of the hardest things we can do as men is to deal with ourselves, is to go inward and deal with the pain, the insecurities, the abuse, the bullying. To me, that's the most masculine thing you could do because it requires the most strength.
Shalom, brothers. I truly hope all is well with you and your families. This was a clip of myself speaking at a conference about one of the most painful moments in my life. The day my wife, Nicole, and I found out our daughter, Olivia, no longer had a heartbeat. And honestly, hearing this again, in my own words, hit me harder than I expected. What stood out to me in that clip is when I said, I had to be hard. I had to be strong. I can't be weak. But looking back now, what I thought was strength was actually a prison. It wasn't masculinity, it was emotional incarceration. If you ever carried a pain like that, you know how heavy it is. That's why I created my Patreon brotherhood, so men don't have to walk through these inner battles alone anymore. There at Patreon, I share extended teachings, devotions. I also create reflections where you can actually go over after the lesson. The link is in the description below if you'd like to join a community of brothers seeking to become comprehensive men. I will never forget the day Nicole and I received this news, the news that Olivia was no longer living in her womb. The sky was gray and overcast. I remember driving Nicole to the hospital full of excitement to find out the gender of our baby. Back then, I can't even recall the year, there were no over-the-top gender reveal parties, just cold gel on the stomach and an ultrasound wand. But I also will never forget the technician's face shifting, her smile disappearing, and then the doctor coming in to confirm Nicole and I's greatest fear. Our daughter, Olivia, wasn't living. Nicole grabbed my arm and cried out in grief. But me, I went numb. I couldn't release what I felt inside because I was taught my job as a man was to be stoic, to shield her with silence. This is what psychologists call disenfranchised grief. It's when your pain doesn't feel like it has permission to be expressed. On the top of that, I wasn't a comprehensive man at the time, just a masculine male who thought being a man was only to be a provider and protector. And I held this belief that bearing my feelings was strength. We all were taught it. My brothers actually taught me to never share my emotions with my wife now, Nicole. And so I didn't really realize what was happening, but today I understand what those actions or that repression does. It creates what I call a pressure cooker soul. You push it down, you lock it up, but eventually that steam finds a way out. For me, it came out through anger, impatience, even physical outbursts, never hitting anyone, but hitting things and snapping when I should have had composure, should have been calm. Years later, I used something as small as a houseplant to finally break me open. a pastor and a mentor of mine, and a pastor of Nicole as well, had given us a plant in memory of Olivia. One day, Nicole moved it, and when I couldn't find it, I panicked. I searched the house until I found this plant. After putting the plant back in its place, I started crying as I was dusting it off. Well, the vase, I was dusting the vase off and started crying. And I stopped, I put the duster down, and I'm like, what's going on? Why am I crying over a plant? And if I did have maybe a great appreciation for the plant, it was now found. So what's the big deal? Well, in that moment, my brothers, I not only realized that this plant was a representation of our daughter Olivia, but that I had never grieved losing her. I had denied myself the human right to cry for my daughter. Well, that day the facade cracked, my brothers, and Yah showed me the truth. I wasn't just avoiding pain, I was avoiding healing. And brothers, I'm not the only one. I want you to listen to what someone recently wrote after hearing my story, and this was on Instagram. He wrote, "Mercy. For many years, I blamed myself for the loss of our first son. He was a stillbirth after 9 months of waiting and healthy doctor's visits. I remember what it felt like when the nurse said she was so sorry. She left the room in tears as my wife cried out in anguish. And there wasn't anything I could do to help my wife or my son. That kind of helplessness is beyond unbearable." That's very heavy. And right now I'm thinking of one of our staff members, or two of them, Justin and his wife, Brianna. They recently lost their son, stillbirth. And just the thought of holding your child and they're no longer breathing. And this is also a reminder of, to always be grateful, and you're not alone, because here it is, as heavy as that pain was for Nicole and I to lose Olivia at, I believe, almost 5.5 months in Nicole's womb. There are countless people who have went the entire 9 months, give birth, and their child isn't living. So here, my heart goes out to the man, the father who wrote this, because as men, we were conditioned to be stoic, to be fearless, to be emotionless, to not cry, not release the pain. And as I share often that Dr. William Frey discovered that tears not only contain 98% water, but stress hormones when we cry. Men, you wonder why we're always right at the tipping point, because we've been conditioned not to release the Most High's way. And so people thought my first book, Cry Like a Man, was about crying, just crying physical tears, but it wasn't. It was about releasing the trauma, the losses that we've held in our heart and our minds for years. And brothers, this is the tragedy of how many of us were raised. Again, we were just taught that being a man means hiding our tears, keep burying our feelings, and we'll call that strength. But let me ask you, what kind of manhood is it where a father can't even openly mourn the loss of his child. But we applaud men who unashamedly cry over winning a sports trophy. We've confused hardness with healing. We've mistaken silence for stability. But the most masculine thing you can do is face yourself, to go inward, to confront the insecurities, the abuse, the bullying, the grief, and deal with what's been killing you silently. Yah never designed us to carry that alone, gentlemen. The scriptures even say for us to cast our cares onto Yah, for he cares for us. But how can you cast cares if you don't even admit you're carrying them? Healing starts, my brothers, with honesty. It starts with giving yourself permission to feel. So here's what I want every man watching to do. I believe I can give you 2 action steps. So action step 1, allow yourself to grieve. Stop judging your emotions. If you lost something, if you lost a child, a relationship, a dream, you have the right to mourn it. Find a safe space, a refuge, journal it, talk to someone you trust, and pray it out. But please do not suppress it any longer. Suppression is not strength. It's the highest form of self-sabotage. And action step number 2, practice emotional release. Make it practical. Make it practical. When you feel the tension building, pause, my brothers. Take deep breaths. Say it out loud what you're feeling. I'm angry. I'm hurt. I'm grieving. I'm sad. Naming your emotion reduces its power. This is called affect labeling in psychology. It literally calms the amygdala in your brain. Brothers, don't let emotional incarceration steal another year of your life. You don't have to carry that facade anymore. Real strength is not holding it in, it's letting it go. As always, I hope this video encouraged you. If you want to be notified when I upload another one, hit that subscribe button and then turn on notifications. But if you're ready to go even deeper, if you want to be trained by me and walk shoulder to shoulder with a community of brothers seeking to become comprehensive men, then join my Patreon brotherhood. That's where the real work happens. The link is in the description below. Until next time, my brothers, keep growing, keep building, keep striving to be the man the moment demands. Shalom.